Hey there, Earth signs. It's Jen here from tarotspirit.net. I know it's been a long time since I've done a weekly reading. I've kind of like it's at a crossroads with my channel. I'm not really sure what to do. So if you guys have any idea of content you want to see, please leave a comment. I'm interested in hearing your feedback and what you may want to see on this channel. So we're going to start with Capricorn. So hi there, Capricorn. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I'm using the Vicevesra tarot. So we are starting out with the Three of Pentacles. So some of you may be up for management, or some of you may be sick and tired of a manager and maybe thinking of changing jobs because, you know, with this star, it's like, I need to heal. I need to feel comforted and safe and just not walk into a situation where it's just like you feel, you almost have to you feel dead inside because it's like it's just sucked the life out of you. You know what I mean? And so for some of you, you may be dealing with a difficult manager, but for some of you, I think you really are like a manager and need to start looking for a career where you can shine in that capacity. Capricorns are very good managers. They're just very meticulous and can help really organize things in a good way to make systems flow really well. But this is going to be a week of healing. So maybe you have actually already left that job or that relationship or a situation. It could even be, it doesn't have to be something huge. That's one thing I like to caution people about. Sometimes you read a tarot reading and you get the Tower and you think, oh my God, my whole life is going to come crashing down. It's usually not that dramatic. I mean, it can be, but it's not, this card doesn't mean like some you're going to hit rock bottom and your whole life is going to, had gone down the toilet. And no, it can just be like, I'm not going to hang out with that person who's a frenemy anymore. I'm not going to keep bringing my kid to that daycare and that can be stressful because all I hear is them bitch and complain about my kid, and I don't want my kid in that situation. I'm not going to that gym anymore. I don't like the vibe there. They're gossipy people there, and it makes me feel bad, and I'm not going there. It's like, nourish yourself, put yourself in healthy environments and healthy situations, and do whatever you can. I mean, there are some things we cannot avoid, but if you can, and there are places that have been, or situations that really suck the life out of you, make a change, heal. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Even if it's a family member, like, focus on positivity and peace and good vibes and healing and those types of things this week. Take salt baths, pamper yourself, light a candle, drink nice tea, have a glass of wine in the bath, whatever, just like really focus on, I'm going to focus on calm. I'm going to focus on peace. I'm going to not focus my energy on that situation anymore. I'm moving on. I'm not giving it any more of my energy. And apply for jobs that you may feel, even if you look at the description and you're like, oh God, I don't meet all of those. Rarely does anyone meet all the qualifications of a job. That's like their ideal candidate, but it doesn't mean you have to have all of those. And sometimes you have to move outside of where you are in order to move ahead. That happened. I had to do that recently. And it was a bummer because there were a lot of really good things. It was hard to let go, but it was time to move on. And so in some way it's time to move on, but it's going to bring you to new heights. It's going to up your life. You're gonna level up, I think is what I'm trying to say. My son would be cringing. So, okay, that's enough for that. I don't need to keep saying that. Let's move on to the sign of Taurus. Hi there, Taurus. Thank you for joining me. If you didn't listen to the intro, you know, I've been really stagnant with my channel. You may have noticed I haven't done a weekly reading in forever. And part of it is because I have a new job that's more hours and quite a bit more demanding. That's just been sort of taking more energy, and I don't have as much time. But it's also because I don't know, I'm just not really sure what to do with my channel. It's really stagnant. And so if you guys have ideas for content, let me know. That's my point. Okay. What am I doing? I am doing Taurus. Oh, Taurus. These are some great cards. My favorite card in the whole deck, the Fool. The Fool card. The Seven of Wands. Another very good card. And then the Ten of Cups. So some of you may have it's a Valentine's Day. I don't even think about it. I've been single for so long. I'm like, oh, is it Valentine's Day? Yeah. Sex on the beach, right? Wow. Very nice. Some of you are starting a new relationship. You're like, screw it. I'm just going for it. I'm opening my heart and I'll just deal with it as it comes. I'm not going to self-sabotage and so the Fool card is not about being foolish and stupid, but it's about, hey, I won't know what this relationship is like unless I give it a try. And it doesn't mean I'm going to like stay in it if it sucks, but I'm going to just give it a fresh start. Like I'm just going to a clean slate and I'm going to give it a try. I'm not going to bring a baggage. That lily, is that a lily is purity? Innocence. I'm not going to bring all the baggage from everything else. I'm not going to assume it's going to fail. I'm just looking, there's like a cup and a crown there. I'm trying to see. And here's the back of that card. These cards are cool. Let's see if I can see. Is there a wand? I was trying to see if there's a wand and a sword. It doesn't look like it. Or the wand could be the pole. So, sorry. These are new cards, so I'm interested in looking at them. So the Fool card, to me, the Fool card's on the top of the major arcana. Because the guy, he's gotten it, first of all, way up on this hill. And it's like, yes, the major arcana is like learning all these lessons, right? As you work through it, from the Magician is to manifest things. The High Priestess is to learn to develop and trust your intuition. You know, blah, blah, blah. You go through. But it gets to the point where you can't, you never can have all those things perfect. Life just isn't perfect, where you can have perfect balance and all those things accounted for, all those lessons. You know, it's time to just move forward and learn, have a new adventure, learn new lessons. But because you're never going to have the payoff in the life you dream of if you don't take that first step. So taking that leap. Some of you may be getting engaged, getting married, things like that. I know this is like the best card in the deck, but I always look at this as like, really challenge yourself. What's your happily ever after? And that you're not just going with the social norms or what's acceptable at this moment in time. I was having this conversation with my son. I'm like, that's all just an illusion. You know, right now being super skinny is seen as the ideal way to be, but you know, I don't even know, I'm going to get this wrong. In the 15th century, being somewhat overweight was seen as desirable because it showed wealth, or, you know, whatever. So it's all an illusion. It's all, look at what the 80s thought was cool and appropriate versus now. I mean, or the 70s, anything. It's all an illusion. So, oh, and I love this, that I was listening to psychic teachers, and I don't know if I said this in your reading for the month, so I apologize if I did, but Samantha was talking, it's a podcast. She does a crystal of the week, and she did diamond. And so this is how we just challenge what we assume is norm and figure out what's normal for you. Diamonds being an engagement ring was a marketing technique of De Beers diamonds. And it came out like in the 40s or something. And that they were the ones who declared that the engagement ring should be 2 months of the guy's salary. Like that was purely a marketing thing. There's no tradition associated with it. So, I mean, I think giving a ring was, but so it's like, do you really need that? Like, what does that show you? What are you valuing? Do you need to get married? Do you need to have kids? What just challenge, like, what really, I just saw 1111, so that's important for someone. What is really important to you? And then, you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. I've been single for a really long time, and so many people are like, oh God, I can't believe you've been single that long. Oh my God. You just get this. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, you're in a crappy, toxic relationship, like in my head, because I am far from Zen at all times. I have a friend who's been with the same man for 20-something years. They never got married. They never had kids. What does she hear? Why aren't you married? Why don't you have kids? It's like, oh my God, why don't you worry about, like, why do you even care? Like, what? So this card's about saying no, or like, you don't have to explain yourself for living, as long as you're not hurting anyone, live your truth, live authentically, and find your own happily ever after, whatever that may be. Oh, that was dang inspirational there. Okay, and now we're moving on to, last but not least, Virgo. Hi there, Virgo. 2 of my best friends are Virgos, which I probably say every single time I do your reading. Sorry. So if you didn't listen to my opening, just really quickly, I really haven't been sort of into my channel lately. It's kind of stagnated, and so if you guys have any ideas for content you would like, let me know. Just leave a comment. I'd appreciate it. I'm kind of at a crossroads here. So Virgo. Okay, for some of you, it's like, for some of you, it may be if you had been going through a tough time with someone, there's going to be sort of a meeting of the minds, a truce, one of those really frank, lay it all out on the line conversations. And I'm not saying you guys are getting back together, but because there is this 5 of Cups here. And this Queen of Pentacles is like, she's looking forward. She's like looking out. She's not looking at the current situation. She's looking towards the future. So for some of you, if you broke up with someone and they've like come back and they're saying, excuse me, all the right things, but you really need to be careful about taking them back. I mean, that's great that they feel sorry and it's nice to be validated, but you knew that they screwed up. So if you've already, or just because they're like, oh crap, I left and it didn't work out, and now I have the perspective to see what I had or what I left behind, doesn't mean you have to. Like, don't, this is probably terrible advice, but remember the bad times. Because, yeah, when someone comes back, oh, you have the honeymoon period, but the honeymoon period doesn't last. I mean, in that intensity, it just doesn't. So I would caution you about taking someone back. and remembering the big picture, all the things. And if you've already are looking forward and kind of excited to move forward with your life, like really hang on to that, because there's abundance there. There is positivity there. There's room, a lot of room for growth. There's no room for growth on this card. You know, he's just stagnant and sad and feeling sorry for himself. Don't go back to someone because you feel sorry for them. Just, I think it's time to move on. Oh, this is the king. Isn't that funny? So it doesn't really matter if it's a man or a woman. But be patient. Something new and better and more abundant will come along. And this could be, maybe if you even didn't get a job, it's not going to be a relationship for anyone. You're going to, maybe that job was going to be toxic. Maybe the coworkers sucked, and if you're patient, the next one that comes along really is going to be a better fit or more money or something like that. So slow and steady wins the race. Don't accept bad behavior, and really look to people's actions and not their words. Okay. Thanks for joining me, Virgo. Have a great week. Bye.